Hello, all. I just want to verify that it's coming through. Okay, it seems to be coming through okay. Little bit not as high quality as on the voice aspect of things. I figured since, it's been a long time since I've done any of these things, I just would do like a quick one on this channel rather than the new. I haven't really had a chance to work on that as of late like I want to. Didn't really expect anyone to pop on. It probably would help if this were a listed stream. Problem is, I don't think I can go into, oh, here we go. Let's just put that on public and then I'll see what happens. You'll have to forgive me too for not updating the logoing on there. I might see if I can do that really quick while I'm waiting to see if anybody might want to join. But I'll have to go on to. That really wasn't planning on this, so I didn't think of doing a live stream. Anyway, I just gotta go to update this to the new logo. I gotta find where it is on the computer really quick. I guess my main point was just to try to explain why I haven't been so active lately. And I can get more focused on that in a moment. I want to see if I can actually find this. And I'm not going to try to stay for a very long time. And the voice you're hearing right now is a different AI voice than I normally use. I was just trying it out. I almost thought this one sounded a bit more natural. Maybe the audio quality isn't quite as high, though. Why am I not seeing? Because I swore I saved the new logoing and stuff in this folder I'm looking at. I can't see it. Where else would I have put it? All right, let's see. Maybe in here. The thrills of live streaming. And yes, I used the word live twice. Okay. All right, come on, Bethany. What are we doing here? That's the question, isn't it? Of course, most people are going to miss us right now. And I'm not really paying attention to the live chat. I suppose I should do that. And nobody in here yet, though, as far as I can see. Not a surprise, considering it's nearly 5 in the morning. Bye time. Well, I do see I have 2 viewers, so somebody's on. Let me try to keep this window open so I can see if anyone pops in that wants to say hi. But I just thought, okay, maybe it's in this folder. I would like to update the logo on there if I can find this. These are my AI image generations. Oh, okay, there's the Sublime channel. Maybe, yeah, okay, let's go with this one. I'm gonna have to edit this though. It's covering up everything, but that's the one I'm looking for. All right, see if I can get this done without screwing anything up. Let's see, transform, edit, transform. Okay, I wish there was a percentage on this on how big it is instead of just the pixel size. Let's just try to knock it down to 1,000. That's gonna make it a little oblong, but why can't I move it? Didn't lock it. Oh, it is locked. I stand corrected. It's locked. That's why it's not moving. Okay. I think I did that to make this a lot easier. Okay. It is definitely time to update our logo because I did it for the channel. I might as well do it for the live stream, right? But of course, as usual, we're going to do it on the fly. Do we want this? Do we want the white parts in? Or some of it anyway? Yeah, might as well go with it. All right. We're at to shrink it a little bit though because that's too big. Oh no, that's crap. I want to shrink it. Well, you know what? I'm gonna have to change something here on this because it's not gonna work out the way I want it to unless if no, I can't. It's gonna be too small, isn't it? Okay, let's make it bigger then, and let's go ahead and okay, let's do that. I think that looks about right. I'm gonna center the white parts. I would like to just have the purple logo part in there. It's gonna be unnaturally big if I do that though, because I use 2 lines on here. I got the Bethany 1989 and the subliminal part is double, so it's just taking up more space. That's not quite centered though, is it? It's like, it's hard to find the exact center of this, just cutting off part of it. Forgive me, I'm a perfectionist sometimes. Close enough, we'll go with that. All right, let's get this background. I like the background though. I don't want to like change this out entirely, but let's get that shrunk down a little bit so it's not. Well, I guess I could eventually change this. But let's, it does kind of look off now that I don't have the same quite color scheme on it. What else can I use for a background here? Anyone popping in the chat yet? Oh, Storyteller's on? Hello? Yeah, this is an AI voice. I'm using a program called voice.ai to do it. Because unfortunately, I haven't trained my own voice to sound feminine enough. It's a challenge. I'm hoping once my subliminal takes real good hold of me, my voice is just gonna actually change on its own, and I don't have to work at it because I hate come across as fake. So that's what I feel like if I'm putting on a voice. I know it seems kind of contradictory because I'm talking with an AI voice, but which is not the real me, but at least I can talk as the real me and have it translated to a voice that more approximates what I want, as opposed to trying to fake it myself. So it's better in a way. Hope that explanation makes sense. I was gonna see if I can find another background though. Since we're updating stuff, I like this background though, it's nice, but let's see. I'll browse through my photos really quick, see if there's something that. So I created some AI images. I might just stick one of those in there, but it has to be the right one though. I like some of these images. I could use some of the ones I didn't use for my Dreams Become Reality one. That one is here. And there's this other one. I kind of have a backlog of stuff that I was thinking of using on future releases rather. If I haven't used it currently, but I might just go with one of them so they're nice and kind of full screen. I can crop out if it's a little too big. Most of these are just basically AI images of women by themselves, and I don't know if that's going to make a great background. Not that they're not great or anything. It's just, that the one I'm going to put up is not a woman either, but it's going to be more than just a woman in the photo. It's going to be like visually interesting anyway. Other than just a portrait of somebody, have them do something that's different than just standing there. I should have thought about this and created a more complex background I could have used in advance, but this was, of course, as usual, Bethany Nights 89, impromptu and not announced. You know how it goes. Why don't we just go with this one? Yeah, I'm feeling this one. Okay. I like that. Let's just kind of, I don't know if I want to crop it all the ways. I want to move it over a bit to get the chat involved. Like in, okay, bring that. Okay, why is that even, it's not even showing up to start with? That's part of the problem. I know it is used somewhere. There we go. I'm going to make an adjustment to our live chat needs to be on top of that so it's not caught up. There we go. That's good now. That's as good as it's going to get anyway. So, now that Storyteller says it's great, but maybe aren't we all perfectionists? Yeah, we try. Well, I guess we don't admit to it sometimes, but I think we all are. We just want to make it look just right. And then you said great, but maybe blonde blue eyes. Is she blonde with blue eyes? I thought she was. That's what I went for when I typed in the prompt, but I guess when I'm looking at her photo, she kind of looks maybe like more kind of like almost a redhead with the whiting. Like a light red. And her eyes are hard to tell. I'd say they're blue, but they're darker. I mean, it's not a very good lighting on this picture. I forgot what the prompt was, though. It was something about blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl in a red dress and dreamscape, I think I was trying to, but it put her in a water tank. It's just funny what AI does sometimes. It spits out the most interesting things. I mean, I can come up with something much better than this for the future, obviously. Anyway, so, yeah, not going to talk a terribly long time. Storyteller says, looks red hair. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was looking more closely at her, and I'm like, yeah, I can see kind of a red tint to it. But yeah, that's supposed to be blonde based on the prompt. Of course, if you have the right lighting, maybe it would look more like that. I mean, like I was saying a second ago, maybe I can even make a better background, but this will work for now. It's the best out of what I had available in that folder. It's funny though, I thought I had more than this for interesting photos. Oh well, maybe I put them somewhere else. Oh, I know where they could be. But I usually put them in a folder called AI images, so I got them all in one. But I think I would have put some maybe on my hard drive where I put my video captures, and I maybe didn't transfer it over. But yeah, anyway, I'm not gonna be on too long, and just wanted to kind of explain why I haven't been so active lately, and maybe an update on where I'm at with my progress. And if anyone pops on, take some questions. And I do have the one viewer right now, and I thank you for joining me, Storyteller. But as far as my lack of progress on posting videos, first of all, I know that got quite a backlog going on with my requests on the Discord, and there's a lot of people waiting on stuff. I was really contemplating lately whether or not I want to try to fulfill those requests. And, our chat went away because I minimized it. I hate when I do that. But the problem is I got so many backlog requests, and what I got most of is lookalike stuff from the Past Altering series, which you've semi-retired because I'm not planning on making any more versions of it. So, and I don't want to clog the channel up full of Past Altering. So if I do get to any lookalike requests, they will not be labeled as such with the Past Alter on them. They'll just be look like this person, and that would be including in the thumbnail and everything. But that's basically a lot of what I got. So I'm just kind of to the point where I don't want to spend all my time doing nothing but making variations of the Past Alter stuff, because I'm trying to branch out and do other things. And with one of my generic Past Alters, you can kind of bring about those changes anyway, as long as you keep that particular look in mind, as the theory goes anyway. I kind of falter myself with that, though. I'm like, well, maybe if you have the details in the script, it would be helpful, so you don't have to keep telling yourself. That's where it kind of comes from with some people with the lookalike requests. They don't want to have to keep keeping that in mind all the time. So, son, and it's unrelated thought, but anyone pops on and can guess the voice I'm using on this. It's based off of a celebrity, and only probably a super fan might be able to get it. It was one of my requests too that I put out there. I believe I got to it anyway. If not, then it's on my request list. It's one of those celebrities. But why is it that I have been, other than the request load, been so unable to do anything lately on the channel other than the last song I put out? I want to do a couple if I can, but the AI model I'm using to do that is inconsistent on the chorus. And I mean, the overall instruments can sound about the same, but when it like a consistent chorus and verses is not, it's not great. It's a limitation on what it is. So you're fighting to find the best takes on it, if you will, to get it and then paste it together. And you're taking a chorus that is consistent and reusing it over and over and over so it sounds the same. And then you have to find and match up with the beats of the drums and the instruments, and it's quite an art form in of itself to piece that all together. That's the problem I faced with that one. But there are definitely affirmations underneath that song. And in retrospect, it wouldn't have made the song very listenable, but I would have put the affirmations in maybe the left ear, the song in the right ear, to kind of create some separation. Because they're kind of on top of each other right now. But it was a decision I made in the moment. I'm like, well, a song is going to want to be heard in stereo. They don't want a mono track, basically. I think it's still going to work, though. I mean, yeah, the lyrics themselves are pretty powerful if you get them stuck in your head. And if the subliminal layer, which I put in as a sign, is and louder than the lyrics, basically, is heard over that subconsciously, it should still do the trick. I've heard a couple people, I've read a couple people, not heard, obviously, but they've said that it had effects on them already. is encouraging. But I didn't want that to be the last thing that I put up. The problem is I get, like, I don't know how many people know it, but I have a full-time job. My YouTube channel is not my full-time job, and I work a second shift. And sometimes I don't get home until 2, 3 in the morning. I don't have the energy to do anything. I practically had to encourage myself to do this live stream. And I debated. I was like, go to that or update people. And I felt I owed everyone an update because I think I'm going on a month since the last upload. And there's a lot of people waiting with bated breath for a request to be fulfilled, but a lot of them are free requests. And I always put them to the back when I get somebody that pays for one, which I have a few. I think of those in my Discord that I have to catch up on. Those are like #1 priority. And the paid ones are getting thrown aside unintentionally. And I feel terrible about that because some people paid like $30 for me to do it, and I'm trying, but I feel overworked, honestly, with my job, and ooh, and that's the best way to put it. Hello? Storyteller says lots of things in little time, like affirmations that make effects, relaxing, good rest. That's actually a good, I really, like, I don't know if you're relating it to the song I made, but I wish I would put more of that type of thing in my subliminals. You just might have given me a good idea on that because a lot of people's stress on subliminal listening happens to do with the overthinking it, stressing about results, depending on what you're trying to accomplish. A lot of people on my channel are obviously trying to accomplish a male to female change, and then I have a few listeners that are female to male. And that reminds me, I have intended, for those that might still be listening to the channel or looking at it, to do female to male path altering final. And I think there was a few variations I had promised on that. Then I was done with it, and I just got on the back burner. They're not a huge portion of my channel, but there are more female to males out there than people realize. I just think they don't speak up a lot, and they haven't found the right channels and avenues. And both sides of the equation are important. I think anyone who's in the wrong body configuration ought to be able to be afforded the chance to shift to the reality where they have the correct one. And I don't really have an explanation for what's going on with that, why this happens in the first place, but I truly believe that people actually have a spirit that is missing the wrong configuration. And sometimes I think it's like a learning lesson type thing. For me personally, I've often felt like, okay, you made this choice before you were born. For some reason, you don't remember it, but this was to teach you why you should not do this because you don't belong in this configuration. Maybe I was, and here's the storyteller says rather male to female. Yeah, that's where I'm at. But to complete that thought, though, we have, in my mind, this idea that the reason I did this was, because relationship, and I can't prove this, but I had a relationship with a woman in a previous version of this, wherein I was lesbian, and it ostracized me from my family because they didn't accept that relationship. So maybe I made a wish or something around those lines where I'm like, well, they would accept me if I was male. And as long as I'm with that woman when I'm a male, I'm going to be happy. that's where it keeps coming into my mind as to why this possibly could have happened. There's a couple other things too that could go with it, but in any case, I've felt that this has been a learning lesson, and I think it could be helpful to anyone who is in the wrong form to affirm when they're listening to subliminal. Thank you for the opportunity for experiencing the opposite sex and body, but my spirit aligns to this. This is what I should be. Thank you for this, but this is what I should be. It's a positive message overall. It's not being negative about what you currently are, because maybe all it is a lesson to teach you why you shouldn't be that way. And if I'm right about what I think about myself, it was wrong to think, hey, I could incarnate as a male and be happy, because the body configuration plays a lot into our happiness level. And everyone be happy, so we shouldn't think that we can just change our form and they're still going to be happy with it, because society dictates a lot of, unfortunately, what people can act like. I mean, if you're male configured, you can't go around acting like a female and not have people look at you like you're nuts. Because you look at that in today's society with the trans community, and people do see it that way. And it's unfortunate. We ought to be able to express ourselves as we are, but I think it's deeper than expressing as female, even if you're in the wrong configuration. I think you literally need to be the right configuration to be whole. So science will have it go as complete as it can, and subliminals will go even further. I mean, I got a moderator on my Discord who went all the... So, I mean, it's proof it could happen. I got proof that, I felt my hips convulse in a partial female configuration. I mean, they haven't fully transitioned, but in real time, I even felt that. So nobody can tell me that the power of the mind, coupled with affirmations and belief, can not change anything, because I know that it can. But until it happens to you, it's hard. I know it's hard for people to believe it. I think that's kind of where we're stuck on this. It's a personal need to experience it kind of thing before you can believe it in some people's case. But the ironic part is you must believe it in order to achieve it. So you got to believe it first and assume it's true and believe it's true as much as you can before it comes to being. It's kind of how it happened to me. I just went with it. I believed the feelings I was receiving meant I was changing. I began to change. Obviously, I haven't completed that journey yet. There's a lot of factors that go into this, but you keep plugging away at it. You keep believing, eventually it's going to come to pass. Because if I can change part of myself, I can change all of myself. That's basically how I look at it. Storyteller says, feel born in the wrong body, but had to go on. Still, life is a growing thing. Maybe the body form parts different, confused at times. And then you say, yes, it won't work. Yes, it's key. Belief is key in this. If you were talking about science, to go back into that, there is a phenomenon called the placebo effect in science that backs this up. I mean, I have no other way to explain how somebody can be given a sugar pill and then they can get effects and get better from a sickness they have. If they believe they're getting medicine, they believe the medicine's going to have a effect that'll cure them, and they fully believe this without any doubts at all, chances are it's going to work. They trust it. they're not questioning that they received medicine, because that would defeat the purpose. It's presented as medicine to them. They get it. They get better. That's why I do not understand how a lot of people just shrug this kind of thing off when they hear about placebo effect and they go, that doesn't mean that you can do anything. Well, of course it does. I mean, I was listening just a bit earlier today about how there are a lot of components in our body that our DNA knows how to produce. Like if you need more calcium to repair a broken leg, the body knows how to do that. Calcium is naturally in the body, but I mean, can you create more of something that isn't there? Something from nothing kind of thing? It's just something like a lot of scientists don't even acknowledge. How do you put more calcium in the body than there's currently there? It's very confusing. They don't acknowledge this, but it's a conundrum. But that's literally what happens when you repair a broken bone. It creates more calcium to make the bone. You don't need that to ingest anything in the body and make it happen. Blood cells replicate and refill after you donate blood. How do you bring more blood into the body that's not there? It creates blood cells. You can do literally anything with the body. They just have you thinking that you really have to rely on medicine and science to do it. And if you fully believe that, that's what happens. And I'm not saying that science and doctors and all that stuff don't have their place. But I don't think, the full experience on the body is limited to what a doctor can tell you and what current understanding of science can tell you. And I'm not a doctor myself, so obviously don't take my advice and run with it entirely. Do your own research and check out your own doctors and all that stuff. Never trust the word of one, but I'm just saying, personally, the way I understand things, we haven't even scratched the surface of what's really going on with reality. People think they got it all figured out. They don't. Storyteller says mind over matter. Exactly. It's like estrogen, storyteller says, in your body, but can block male hormones and increase female hormones. Exactly. Built in within us is the instructions that do literally anything to this body that can be done. Is vulnerable to our heart's content. And if we stop looking at reality as a physical thing, and we start thinking of it as a holographic thing, and that our bodies are holographic, and that the only real thing is the consciousness that resides in the holographic body, the spirit, if you will, it unlimits the spirit and the mind that inhabits that holographic body from, limits. You can do anything. And it's not always instant, because sometimes if you have deep-held beliefs that things take time, confident that you can manifest instantly, then of course you won't. It really helps just to say that you already have it. That is what instant manifestation really is saying you already have it. If you repeat you are something, you already have something, might take a little time to get through to this, stubbornness that you learned over your life. Eventually it's going to get through though, and you're going to start to see it coming quick. Can't let the doubt about that thought enter your mind either, because that'll slow it down. It has to be a knowing that you got it. What you're looking at is an illusion. this isn't real, it's a hologram. You can mold this hologram to how you want it to be. You just need to let it occur and believe it. This is why, and not to digress too much, this is why religion is very powerful in people. Because they believe that it's true, it becomes so true for them that they start to experience visions of God and everything. And I'm not going to pretend to know what God actually is. That's up to everyone to decide. But my own experience of God is based on what I'm seeing is we all are God. And I know it's a tough sell, but if we have the power of creation like this, that's literally what we are. And if we are holograms in the sense that our body's a hologram and our consciousness exists outside of it, and as they get together, the more powerful we are, which is why they divide us constantly, then literally God divided his consciousness up into billions, maybe trillions of individuals, maybe even more than that, and did so because if you're one God, you're lonely. How do you create the illusion that you're more than one? Divide yourself up. Create a simulation. Make people forget that they are one. Make people experience the sensation of loneliness to seek out others, even if the others around us are holograms too. You know, why is this such a hard sell for people? Why is this so hard to believe that there could be just one split amongst many branches of consciousness? If you're a God of, of the power, the Bible says this is not the realms of something such a God could do. That such a God like that's supposed to be limitless. A God like that could create divided consciousness. And maybe a God like that would, if that God like that could not find another just like him or her or it. I'm just started out there. And whether I'm right about the divided consciousness aspect of it, we definitely are powerful, and we definitely can affect change. So we should stop doubting it at the very least. And if there is a singular God beyond what we are, this is something that obviously such a God would want us to do, or would allow us to do, or be possible to be done. I would think that such a God would want us to be happy, and whatever makes us happy, we can do, as long as it doesn't harm anyone else. I think that's the biggest sin we could ever accomplish, is anything that harms someone else. Physically is the emotionally, we sometimes can't help emotional harm. Sometimes we unintentionally do that, but we can control it for the most part. Anyway, big digression, but I just felt like a stream of thought coming out. I should say that. So it is what it is. And Storyteller is saying God is I am, only he is creator. You see, there, it's a hard sell. Like I said, it's a hard sell to put forth an alternate idea of what the creator is. And I think it's humility, and I don't know if humility is a word. Being humble to say that we couldn't possibly be part of that. Aren't we part of that regardless? So if he is all that is, Alpha and Omega, as they say, doesn't that encompass all that he creates? We exist at his whim anyway. He created us, he could destroy us. I mean, what's the difference between the creation creator at that point if you have an almighty, powerful God like that. This is why, like, religions are a very risky subject to even broach, because people have deep-seated beliefs about what is and what isn't true about something. Like, one thing to think about is, like, if Christianity were the true religion, and I say this because it's the one that's most prevalent in the United States, aside from Judaism, or Catholicism, which is a offshoot of the Christianity type thing. If it were true, why would there be so many other religions out there and no conclusive evidence of which one's true? Why is it there only is a manuscript per each religion to support the proof of the claim? The claim is of itself apparently the truth. So how can you explain how the proof can be the proof of itself? There has to be something that collaborates it. And history has not been able to verify the claims of the Bible, for instance. That's so long ago, so very, very long ago, that all you got is the testimonies of the people that wrote in that very manuscript. Nobody here today is a witness. So how do we know it's true? What other evidence do we have? The same thing could be said for the Quran and the Muslims and the Buddhists and so on and so forth. I myself don't belong to a religion for this very reason, because I don't see the truth in any one religion. I think religion is the trap itself. Choosing something someone else tells you is the truth instead of discovering it for yourself is the mistake. And you're free to believe what you want to believe, but shouldn't what you believe be based on something more than what someone tells you is true and what one book tells you is true? I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. And I know that's one thing that can kind of divide people from my channel, make them want to unsub me. And if you're in that much of a fragile state that you have to unsubscribe for me from that, that's fine. Like, I don't want to lose subscribers, but I would hope most people that are on my channel are, if you're open-minded enough to believe that subliminals could work, that you'd be open-minded enough to at least listen to what I'm saying. Even if you don't believe it, you can totally disregard me as a heretic if you want. But would someone like me, who has done nothing but good things for this community, be deserving of condemnation for questioning that which I don't have proof of? Like, it's not like I haven't asked the Christian God, because I've tested it. I said, the Christian God exists, then show me. And so far I got nothing. So, I haven't asked any other God out there, variation of it though, but I tested that one because a lot of my family around me is Christian or an offshoot, and it's like, nothing. I've had a couple dreams where I met some godlike figure, but that's not proof to me. I dream about many things, and many of those things don't come true. So, anyway, rant over on that one. Storyteller, sorry, missed your last couple. You have to go on to work, get some rest, because we must trust and believe the truth. And yes, I am open-minded. Thanks for joining. Didn't really expect anyone to be on, but I'm glad at least one person came on. I got 3 right now, but you're in the chat talking. So Yeti said God will answer me in different ways. Well, like I said, the only way God apparently answered me is in a dream. I didn't really talk about, well, God in that dream, if you want to call it that, said it wasn't a dream. And you know what he told me? He said, how you know? I asked God, how do I know this isn't a dream? And God said to me, what did Roy say? He didn't like say much. He just exactly that I can remember, but he breathed like deeply, and that he breathed into me deeply, basically, like a CPR type thing. Then I woke up. So it's almost like he's trying to tell me that if you can breathe in a experience that appears to be a dream, and you have the perception that you're breathing, that's not a dream, that's reality. That's what I got out of that. And I don't know what that means to anyone else out there, but that's what I was told. I cannot remember many instances I can remember breathing in a dream and experiencing the breath like that, though, other than that one experience. And I've been looking out for him. But it happens again, and I might say that was a clue, but I don't know. Yeah, goodbye, storyteller. I will get some rest here. Probably go until, I don't know, 6, maybe 6:30. I might make it 6:30 just to give it about another hour. I don't even know if I really got to see the meat of what I was trying to say, though, but I was an interesting diversion. Yeah, I was talking about busyness. The work thing. I got through that. Talked about my request load. I didn't my progress. The thing with that is, it's been about, I don't know, going on 2.5, 3 years since I started this, and the biggest thing, as I already mentioned, is that partial hip change. I know that my hips are partially towards the feminine female configuration. I just don't know the percentage. I wanted to say like 30%, but I don't know for sure. Of course, I haven't been to a doctor, have them check me out. There's been a couple other things that have happened, but I present overall, unfortunately, male to everyone around me. They're still calling me the male name, which, doesn't cause as much distress to me as it might some. Partially the reason is I'm not to everyone around me. If I were out to everyone around me, I'm sure this would be a lot smoother because I could present as I want to. But then comes the uncomfortable part of presenting in a way that does not conform to the current version of reality, which may very well be an illusion, may well not matter in the long run, but embarrassment is a very powerful emotion to feel. You're not embarrassed to be yourself, but you're embarrassed at the reaction that you're getting from being yourself, which should never, ever be the case. Being yourself should be celebrated. We shouldn't be put into a cardboard box and being told which way to act, how to be. But we are. And that's the situation I'm in, so I choose. And it's a choice that maybe could be holding me back, but it's due to my comfort level not to present as feminine to people. I'm always feminine in my mind, my heart, my soul, but never outwardly and never requesting that people call me Bethany because they don't know me that way. And it's presumptuous for me to insist people refer to me a certain way that they don't see me as, no matter how much I see myself that way. This is meant to happen to me. It's going to happen, and it's going to be like reality shift. And eventually, without people asking me what I wanted to call, they're going to start calling me Bethany, and it's going to be a reality shift. And my body is going to change more and more. I kind of look at it as a like a slow but methodical shift into a realities where you become increasingly more and more female or male, depending on which direction you're going. That's kind of how I'm seeing it. And the multiverse may not work the way we think it does too. It might be like there might be only one reality that we shift and change at our will, or there might be like the radio station thing, many stations you can tune it into, and it's just about getting yourself in the right frequency. And maybe it works both ways. I mean, that's one thing that always pops into my head when I like this phrase, both things can be true at once. Both things can be true at once. It's over and over pops into my head. And I'm like, it seems illogical, but maybe that's the way it could work. Because if we're dealing with the multiverse, there are limitless possibilities. So there could be a side reality where there is only one reality. If you switch to that adjacent version of events where it's only one literal reality that you shift between, and there could be another reality where there's multiple realities that are adjacent to it where you could shift between. If you the more you limit the mind, the more you limit your possibilities. So I don't think we can necessarily know for sure that both things can't be true. But if there can be an up, there can sure be a down. And there could be a third option. There could be a middle. Halfway between up and down. There could be a fourth way, a fifth way. I think they got us in this binary too much. That's why, in a very big way, I really appreciate that there are non-binary folks out there who realize that we aren't confined to just two choices. And I'm not talking about just the sexual component of it, where you're either male or female. I'm talking about more than that. I mean, there's more than Democrat, Republican, for instance, to go into the politics angle. There's more than right or wrong. There's sometimes gray. It's about nuance. I think we've lost nuance in today's society. We need to regain it. Storyteller says, God does that. He fills you with that. Okay. Yeah, I had about it this what that response was to, but with breath maybe is what you're saying? Yeah. The breath of life is the biblical kind of what is the word I'm looking for? The biblical text said, and I'll just put it that way. Filling people with the breath of life. And it could have been like a rough in that dream. That's literally what God was doing to me, but like a CPR type thing. You stop breathing. Maybe I stopped breathing in reality. I don't know. And God was giving me like CPR. I don't know. Maybe both that and trying to teach me a lesson. But incidentally enough that I have a cleaner for my job. I don't know if I divulged that before. And it's one of the least respected professions out there, and least paid. Even being someone who's one of the lead people that still don't make you a lot of money and you don't back. But that that's aside from what I was going to say, but that's context for you to explain the job. But I was cleaning a building once that I was told to use a cleaner that we usually use in toilet bowls, which is a mild acid, to get some grease and so kind of stains off of the side of a floor. But I was told to put a sprayer on it. And you could probably see where this is going. If you're not protecting your respiratory system, you could accidentally breathe in like a mild acid cleaner. And I did. Accidentally. And I think I could have done damage to my lungs that day. And I try not to overthink it though, because I believe in if you believe something to be true, it becomes true. so I don't put that in my mind too much. But I have noticed that my breathing has not been the same since. But like I said, I'm just trying to not think of it that way. I'm like, nope, I breathe fine. I'm still alive. I'm still living. I don't feel like labored in my breaths or anything. I don't want to keep putting that idea in my head, so I'm not going to. But if that were correct, though, it would explain why God would be helping me out with breath in my dreams. It's not like I see this God figure in my dreams all the time. It'd be nice if such a God figure would appear to me every single time I ask for it. It doesn't happen. It's happened a total of, in recent memory, maybe 3 times, spread out over these 3 years. And one time, this God figure gave me a very valuable lesson that I've took to heart in my manifestation. Whether it was really God or not, it was a very good thing to hear. I might have talked about this already, but okay, so we were like we were like by a sand pit, like a pathway full of sand, and he was there, and I'm looking at this, and there's handprints in the sand, not footprints, but handprints, as if somebody was doing handstands and trying to walk to the door on the other side. But there were only a few that were not even a quarter of a way through. And then this God figure turns to me and says, the things we do, which seem to be the hardest, become second nature to us the more we practice them. I've been practicing walking on my hands. Even I, as God, need to practice to get good at something. And I know that's sacrilegious, but maybe it's just, even if God were perfect and already knew how to do this, it's a illustration that he's trying to tell me if he's God. So, or maybe God does need practice. Either way, it's still a lesson. So the things in which we do that seem the hardest to us, we require practice at, then they become a second nature. I've been practicing walking on my hands. Why don't you do it too? And the metaphor being, if you walk on your feet all the time and that's what you learn, of course walking on your hands is going to be hard to do. It's about belief, and belief is the same thing. If you don't believe things that are hard for you to believe, it's going to be hard for you to believe them at first, but the more you believe them, the easier it becomes. The more you do something, the easier it becomes to do it. You know, there may not be natural talent. It might just simply be repetition and practice that brings about progress, right? That was one lesson. Second one, I tried to think about the second. Third one was recent though. I think one time ago I said, hey God, if you wanna prove to me you're hearing me, then I want you to appear to me as Morgan Freeman, because like Morgan Freeman played you in a movie. And I want you to spend some time to not just give me lessons or anything, but just hang out with me. Maybe chat. Spend some time with me, not asking for anything specific. That I had this breathed into me at the end of it that I was talking about earlier, but we spent most of the dream of, he was just playing like a video game. I think it was Mario or something. We were just hanging out and I was in the same area where he was. So it kind of bears out what I asked for is what I got, but I cannot simply prove that that entire experience was real to me. Like, it felt real when it happened, but when you wake up into the reality that we see, this seems to be real, and everything else that we experience seems to not be when you're far removed from it. But what if we got it flipped around? What if this is the unreal thing and that's the real stuff? The unlimited potential and all the things we can do. And if If it's flipped around and we experience that all the time, would we appreciate it when we can have it? This is a thought that came into my head just now. Can we appreciate being unlimited when we're unlimited all the time? No, I think we have to mostly be limited or fewer limited to appreciate when we're not unlimited or not limited. I mean, it's the same thing as why there might be evil in the world, because how do we know evil if everyone's always good all the time? Everything we would do would seem to be good if we never knew what evil was. It's a yin and yang type thing. And maybe we have to experience more of something in the negative sense to appreciate when something's positive. And we literally can't have one without the other. It has to exist in some form or the other. It's like my spiritual emergency that came about, I don't know, was it 2020 going on like 3 years ago that I had, where the number 80% evil popped into my head. There had to be this ratio of 80% good people and 20% evil, because there always had to be some evil to know what it was. Because if over time we would forget what evil was if we didn't have it. I don't know. That's a side digression, though. Anyway, I still see we got one on. And I don't know what, okay, maybe half hour from going to, like to 6:30, like I said, like a little over. But I might cut it short unless I get a chatter in here, because otherwise I'm just going to keep rambling about stuff. The only thing that comes to mind that I might want to discuss is potential upcoming original ideas that I had for subliminals, but honestly, I don't have a ton of those right. I had a weight loss one I wanted to do because it's nice and simple. But like, and it reminds me though, is when it comes to subliminals, is something I said on my Discord server. I've been watching Juliet Clearly, the YouTuber manifestation coach. I don't like religiously watch her, but I see her videos come up now and then 'cause I'm subscribed to her and all that stuff. So I'm taking a lot of things she says and I'm going, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And one of the things she said was basically, the more that you, how did she put it? I might have to put this in my own words. I probably should anyway, but the more that you focus on something and trying to make it happen, the more you hold it up. It's like, acknowledge that it already has happened. And there might have been another point that I had on that, but I think I just totally blanked of what I was going to say about, I had something very profound too, but I don't know what happened though. It just poofed out of my head, Okay, what was I talking about? So it's weight loss subliminal. Oh, here, now I remember. Okay, good thing I was telling you about weight loss subliminals. Subliminals is not like directly related to weight loss, but so when you have this idea that the subliminal is doing the work for you, that's not the way you look at it. It's like medicine and all these things you do toward your goal are not what brings it about. You're just keeping the ball rolling is what you're doing. You are doing your manifestation, or have done rather your manifestation, by simply saying that's what you desire and tapping into the feeling of that desire. If you put yourself in the mindset of that desire that I've had when I felt that emotion means it's already done, stop trying to make it come to be and just keep the ball rolling. Change your mindset and flip it. Everything you do in No Honor becomes about making it happen. It's about making the snowball roll down the faster and faster and keeping that momentum flowing. And the best way you do that is just stop telling yourself it's not happening. Tell you it's happening. I'm making it happen faster. Or you could say, better yet, it's already happened. I'm making the illusion fade faster and faster. Because she always says that the illusion that is this reality exists and it takes time for it to fade, but it's not really here because you are all that is and you dictate what is. And sometimes what you manifested before, as complex as it is, takes time to dissolve into what you want it to be now, but you have to be constantly on that frequency of positive flow of energy saying, I know this is happening. I feel the emotion that it is happening or it has happened. Better yet, like I said. But as long as you tell yourself it's happening or has happened, you're on a positive flow. If you keep looking in the mirror and going, I don't see a result there, even if you don't feel anything happening to you, you're going to keep yourself stuck. Keep telling yourself that I want this. I want to change. I want to change this about myself. You're going to be stuck into that reality where you always want it. Got to get yourself out of the reality where you always want it and say you already have it. Even if it doesn't seem if you have it already, you have to pass the test and go, this isn't what really is. Even if that's what it seems to be on the three-dimensional level, I have to get beyond this and manifest into, fade this illusion rather, because it's already manifested. The 3D will change the more I keep disbelieving what I'm seeing. Don't believe what you're seeing. Believe what you have chosen to manifest. I know it's easier said than done, but I thought that was pretty profound and put it in a way that I hadn't quite thought of it before, even if I had something kind of similar. Anyway, do we have anybody else that wants to chat before I head to bed? Because I'm up a bit later than normal, and this was not planned. Of course, as usual. Yeah, this is a different voice for those who have joined later. I just thought I'd try it. It's a famous celebrity. A lot of people like her. I'm probably not sounding too much like her. I think her natural homeland is not American. She's not from the United States, so that doesn't help. I was telling you she's not from the UK. I can eliminate that, but I don't want to give any more hints. Hey, if anyone like pops in and guesses who this is, like whose voice this is, I will put you in VIP subliminal requests without pay, and I'll put you next in line after I do the next. Like I got two ahead of you. That's serious. I will do that. I'm sure somebody could probably guess it if they were a super fan. But no, I don't really much else other than that. I will wait a few moments or so to see if anyone might have something else to add to questions or whatever. I could look on my YouTube channel to see if there was any comments I haven't responded to yet. That's an option. Oh, I'm not signed in on this other one? Interesting. I thought I was. Let me do that really quick. Let's see, your sign-ins. No, not now. I don't want to do that. How about my streaming PC logging into my YouTubes? I don't want to mess with the chat. Oh, I never changed my, like, image on my live stream. That's interesting. I had considered doing this on my, new channel. But I figured since I haven't posted content on there since the last, two I did. The first two. Last two and the first two. Two things are true at once there. Just might as well go with the existing channel. Alright, let's look at the comments. There might be a few on here. Oh, what was that really quick? 1,099 subscribers. I could have swore that it said 1,100 before I streams. Maybe somebody didn't like my rant about the religion stuff. I wouldn't be surprised. But like I said, people can are welcome to unsubscribe for me if they were offended about that. I would hope people be open-minded to listen, even if they don't agree with me. I don't mind debates too. People want to talk to me about it, but you know, you don't even give yourself a chance to debate if you just unsubscribe for me and you just get that offended about it. I'm open to have my mind changed. I just have not seen evidence that well, I don't want to rehash. Any religion is the truth. And that does not mean I'm an atheist. It just means I don't see the truth in any religion. I believe in a version of God that is so far outside of what those religions say. And I don't even have any concrete evidence of that either. It's just a kind of a blind faith kind of thing. Well, not completely blind because I've had evidence of something. But I don't have evidence to prove any of those. Anyway. Jajit says, I love this one, Bethany, a lot. The lady is beautiful, her blue dress and eyes. It's been a while since I said the name. I think I got that right. I remember a live stream where we were talking. That's on the Feminine Spirit Acceptance one. I'm gonna give that a heart and a thumbs up. And you know, why not? Let's reply to that too. I gotta remember, I gotta use this other keyboard. One of these days, I'm gonna get that switcher I was talking about where I can just use one keyboard for everything. It's been a long time since I said I'd get that, but my financial situation has not improved immensely. I figure if I had like 10 times the amount of Patreon members right now, I would actually be sitting in a position where I could almost quit my job. Almost. And I wouldn't be struggling. But we all have our dreams. Hell, I could probably get through all those requests that were free if I had all that time on my hands. Ready to say thanks, appreciate it. You're not seeing this on the screen, I don't think, but might as well get through this while I'm here. No other chats coming in. Uni Matrix 1 says love to the I've become a girl subliminal that my last post. We're gonna hit hard and like on that, and I like what it has these auto things on here, but just gonna say thank you so much. Then I'm gonna try to put a heart on here. One of those emojis. If it'll let me. It might not. There we go. I was looking for the emoji menu. Oh, it didn't pop up until now. Yep, there we go. Cool heart. Well, we'll put 3. Why not? I get so far behind in these things sometimes. So, like, I hate that. I let this go because I've been so busy with. I've been attending a football game on the weekends too. Like almost every weekend, it's either I go to the home game at the stadium or I go to the away game. even as a female, I'll have burned out. I mean, I'll still want to support the team that I'm seeing and go to the games, and I'll be invested. I do enjoy hanging out with the family. That's a big part of it. We play the beanbag game where you throw into the boards with the hole in them. I think they call those cornholes in some regions. And that's another reading for cornhole for other people too, which we will not specify on, but I think you can get the meaning on that. Some people call it just beanbag game or boards. But yeah, you got, I think it's 3 or 4, 4. Yeah, 4 beanbags you try to toss into a hole on a slanted board and you set them about 20 feet apart. It's a game you play at tailgates a lot. It's pretty fun. I'm not that great at it though. I'm getting better, I think. See, Sora Lantern says, any progress on your transformation? Well, if you watch this video, Sora Lantern, yeah, sort of. I feel things all the time. Haven't seen a lot, but I don't try to look at what I see as, or not see as the end-all be-all, as long as I feel something happening. Something's happening. That's the mindset I get myself. I'm just gonna say, still plugging away and feeling things happen. That is the summary of what I was talking about anyway, so that makes sense. Tithing. I don't know how much is being picked up by weird noises and stuff, but when I talk a lot, sometimes I get dry throat, and then well, you know how it goes. I need to take a drink of something, and sometimes you do have a good reaction. You drink something after having a dry throat for a while. Soralenta says, the spoken word section feels more like an incantation to me, because as with any magic spell, the magic is powered by your intention. The song is basically affirming over and over that this is the outcome, and it comes along because of my intention. Very well put. I'm going to say that well, I'm just gonna say very well put, and I agree. And that pretty much sums it up. But to elaborate on that further, I always felt like spoken word, rhyming, poetry in general does bring about the right feeling to you. It can evoke an emotion, make you connect with it. So, I mean, whether it's poetry or a quote-unquote magic spell, if it rhymes and it means something to you and invokes an emotion, it's good. Emotions, importantly, can't forget that we have to have emotions when we manifest things. We have to tap into the emotion of what we're trying to do. It's the emotion which we seek that associates with what we seek. So if you can tap into the emotion, you're tapping into the end result. And if the emotion is positive, which it should be if it's something you want, we obviously don't want something usually that is negative. At least I would hope not. I mean, but if you're in negative emotions all the time, I feel sorry for you. I mean, I've been there too, but you know, there was a point where I was in negative emotions or just overwhelming me, but I told myself all I got to do is stop feeding it. I'm better than negativity. I am a positive person. I know this. That's why I hate the negative so much. And being around negative people, they're repulsive. I don't want to be around somebody that's constantly complaining about stuff. I like talking about positive stuff. You attract more of what you what you talk about and what you experience. You're a magnet for that. So don't try not to surround yourself around negative people, and if you can't avoid it, don't let the negativity uh, envelop you, and don't feed it. Put a positive spin on everything. I got a new person here. Yuka Taki Takeuchi. I'm gonna guess that's the. I could be totally off base. Says hello, Yuka. Sorry if I didn't get to you sooner. I've been looking at these comments. Yeah, that one was on the song Liminal too, that I was just talking about though. Wyrix, this is also Subliminal from Darch Angel 2136. It could be dark, could be meant to be dark, but a different way to spell it. Lyrics, yeah, I meant to put those on there. Let's see, I will say I will. No, if like my keyword would actually work. I will add those soon. Problem was last time someone asked for that, I didn't have them finalized at the time, so. And there's some, like I will say, to admittedly some gibberish in maybe some of the lyrics, because when you use that AI tool to try to make it, it does not produce English back at you, even if you type it in. It's just kind of like the Sims type of speak. So I might have to make up a lyric that sounds similar to what it said in the places where it did that. Let's see. Dark Angel says, you know, it's interesting you did the whole rhyme scheme thing, because I myself am born a poet and have been thinking for some time about trying poetic affirmations. After all, rhyme is part of the parcel of incantation, usually has been since the dawn of the world, so I guess it would have to add something to a subliminal efficacy. Yeah, not much more to add to that. I was going to heart and like that one, because I already covered that. Sora Lanthorn says, okay, awesome. I can wait if you need me to. Like, okay. That, I think that was in response to, I think Sora Lantern wanted a night version of that song that loops for 8 hours, which I was explaining to Sora that it's a very hard thing for me to accomplish, because the way that I put it together does not really lend itself to a loop, unless we are to just loop literally what I composed. But I don't know if that's really that. I'd want to do, like, if I can separate the music from the lyrics, and I found some AI tools that'll do that, but it leaves artifacts of the vocal in there. But if I had like a pure instrumental, I could have one sections of it where it's just the instrumental and the affirmations, layer playing, and then come back into the lyrics later. That's how I'd want to do it. Otherwise, it's going to be like a constant loop of the song. Because I don't have a clean instrumental on it. That's the problem. This would be a call out there to anyone who, if I can put the lyrics up, that is musically inclined, that knows a female vocalist that could sing, and maybe take some of the spoken lyrics part and pervert them into song style based on the original verse. Because that's what the way I envisioned it originally, was to have most of it be song style verses and fewer spoken words on it. It might have only been like one spoken word that ended up on there, but I don't know. It's been a while since I've listened to the thing. How are we doing on no, my credits on my voicing is not decreasing. I don't know how Voice AI is doing this now. They keep saying that the voice can cut out and it's not limited, but I haven't seen that happen, and I haven't seen my credits go down like today. They used to do that though. Like last time I did this, Strave, they were like counting down as if they were running out, but I have 92,000 right now. So it's not going to run out anytime soon, but I just envision one of those times where, unfortunately, everyone gets to hear Bethany's real voice right now, which is not nearly as feminine and beautiful as this one. I know people would say you're beautiful no matter how you sound, but I don't want to present myself as a guy to you or sound anything like a guy. That's very much not how I see myself, so I don't want to do that. That's the only way I'm doing live streams, is if I can have my voice sound anything like this. Okay, so next comment though. My mom, Laura Lantern says, keeps pushing me to use the testosterone hormone therapy gel, but I'm not letting her win by using an estrogen plus testosterone blocker supplemental. That way, although I'm using the male hormones like she wants, it's not making me reverse my steps towards transition and my true authentic self. Well, I'm gonna hit like and heart on that one. I'm just gonna comment my thoughts on this without typing them. It's a pretty messed up situation where your parents get involved with what they want you to be. Like, of course, I can understand from a certain point of view on this. Not to throw the Star Wars reference in. I don't know how people are familiar with the Obi-Wan Kenobi certain point of view Star Wars thing, but I don't know, it's kind of messed up. That's a digression, really. I don't know if I want to go into it, but Darth Vader killed your father. Spoilers, sorry, but they're actually the same person. I don't know, but yeah, if your parents or lady give birth to you, well, your mom does anyway. The female of the two gives birth, because I suppose your mom could be your father if they transition. Yeah, just to be fair, but the female of the two gives birth to you. Your father, of course, gives the genetic material to contribute to that. You get born a certain sex. That's what they see you as. They give you a name that conforms to that. And then you tell them you don't identify with that. And you want like, let's say you're male. You want a female name. You want to be seen as a girl. It's like, I can understand from a certain point of view there. As a parent, that's really scary because you don't know how to deal with that. But the more you resist that notion, the more you say, I know what makes you happy more than you do, the more you're not showing support as a parent and that you support and love your child. Now, there's a difference between a child doing this when they're, let's say, 5 or 6, and somebody who's doing it when they're of a certain age where they understand what the difference between a boy and a girl is and what they identify as. But there's a whole can of worms we can go into about when we should be making decisions about when we transition. And I know there's a whole debate about this. But if in your heart you truly, truly feel connected to the opposite sex in a way beyond you're attracted to them, and like on a sexual nature, and you just identify with that as being what you are, even if your body doesn't conform to that, and you're 100% certain of that, no matter what your age is. Like, if you're absolutely certain, I don't really see why somebody should be able to tell you you're wrong. Because you know yourself better than anyone else knows you, because you're you. You experience the feelings that you experience, right? They don't experience your feelings, you do. And there's a difference between identifying with the opposite sex and feeling like you should be that, and doing so at a younger age just because you identify with a certain aspect of that sex that society assigns to them. Like Lighthouse is very crude, but say like females typically, like stereotypically anyway, like, oh, we enjoy cooking, right? We love to cook, but we love to be homemakers and that kind of stereotype. The gender society role, as it were, of women and what they do, right? If you identify with like one aspect of that, and that's why you think you should be a woman, then maybe that's, you know, I'm about to say, for sure that's wrong, but maybe you need to think about it more and wait till you're older to be sure. You have to be like, I think you should probably have more than that going for it before you make that kind of decision. But if it's much, much more than that, if you're so uncomfortable with what you see in the mirror, and you don't feel like you fit in with people of the same sex as you, just absolutely don't gel with that, and you feel more comfortable around people of the opposite sex, and maybe there's something to it, because girls make a lot, if you're fortunate anyway, you make a lot of girlfriends, and you spend a lot of time hanging out with them. You make very few guys as friends as you get older. It's just a clique, if you will, of girls that hang out. When you're younger, maybe there's more intermingling going on, but I think that's when you determine at that age what you are more comfortable with hanging with. For me, it's always been girls. Like every girl I've hung out with, I felt more comfortable around them, more able to open myself up and talk, emote. That's the important thing. I've always wanted to emote with people. And I could do that around girls, but guys, no. If you emote around guys, you're ostracized and outcast. And then I look at their behaviors, the kind of things they like and their behaviors, and I just don't connect with it. That's how I go, girl on the inside, and I should have been a girl on the outside too. And there's other things that go into it too, but that was one of the main key things when I was younger. I might have talked about that on my Patreon too at one point. Anyway, we are almost out of comments. Almost caught up. Other mouse would be good. There, Bethany. There we go. I hate this where like I said, I need to get one of those switches that lets me control the same mouse and keyboard from the same, mouse and keyboards. I don't have to use both sets. That's the setup I got right now, though. And sometimes I forget which one to grab. Because I'm literally sitting next to two monitors right now. That's the setup I got. One screen has the streaming PC on it. The other one has the gaming PC, and the gaming PC is handling voice right now. That's a typical setup I do when I don't play games. I have a HDMI switch that'll give my second extended desktop on the gaming PC if I want to, but now it's set up to look at two different computers. So if I had it set up where I could use the split screen on the same computer, then the mouse would do the same thing on both, but that's where I can get confused. Anyway, last one is, how do I pronounce this? Zach BDIJAK Tim. I don't know how to say that, but it says being female. On the being female is Mike, not Mike, but like magic, excuse me. Short. Okay. Well, I don't see a negative connotation or a negative connotation with that. So I'm just gonna I don't know if that's being sarcastic or negative on it, but yeah. I'm just not going to make an assumption. I'm going to say, well, a negative one. I'll make a positive assumption and say it's positive. Okay, so we're caught up now. Do I have any held for review comments? No. While I'm at it, if I can switch to my responded to ones, there sometimes are comments I don't see that people reply to that it never notifies me of. So I'm going to do a quick scroll through. I thought I fixed that though, but maybe I didn't. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything that's standing out right now. Yuka says your channel is awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm glad you could join me for my, as usual, impromptu live stream. One which I should not be doing at this late of morning. I worked a second shift and started at 4:30. Well, no, I didn't start at 5, so I got moved up a half hour. Started at 5 p.m. yesterday. So I've been up over 12 hours. This is usually when I usually go to bed well before now. I may have miscalculated on that. Let me think. AM 12 hours. I think it is. It's certainly not 24. It would be 24 if you went 5 p.m. to 5 p.m. It's got to be 12. But yeah, and honestly enough, I don't feel that tired right now. But I probably should end this in a moment or so. Because I do need to get some sleep for my next shift, which, well, it doesn't start until 5 p.m. So technically, I quizzed up a bit longer and be okay to, but I don't know if I talked about my my situation by sleep. I have this weird sleep cycle where okay, say I go to bed at 5 a.m. I'll sleep until 10 a.m. and wake up after some dream or some sort, which usually does not have anything to do with my male to female thing, which is frustrating on a certain level, but I try not to read too much into it. Because maybe on some level it does, and I'm just not seeing it. But anyhow, I wake up at like 10 a.m. or so, and then I'm like, okay, I need more sleep. I get up at 2 or 3 because I go to bed so late. I've just did this cycle. Then for 2 hours, I'll fall back asleep and wake up again. So by that staying asleep for a full 8 hours, I used to be able to do that. It's frustrating that I can't do it anymore. It started like back when my spiritual emergency happened in 2020. That's when my sleep cycle flipped. It's like I could never go to sleep anymore and have this sensation of consciousness ceasing to be until I wake up. It's always go to sleep, have a dream, wake up, go back to sleep, have another dream, maybe have another one after that and wake up again. It's like 3 times. I've gotten used to it. It's better than it was during the pandemic when this spiritual emergency started to happen and the aftermath of it. At that point, I was not sleeping at all. It was very strange. I would have no acknowledgement of ever falling asleep. It would just be a constant consciousness the entire time of laying in bed and not having to get up and go to work and feel like I never got any sleep. Even if I didn't feel tired, I would yawn during the day and I never felt tired. It was just very strange. I don't know how to explain it. Well, here's a comment I missed from Zaka, or Zaka, BDIJK, AKTIM. See, this sometimes we miss some of these. I have become a girl. I love feminization and sissification. Well, sometimes you have to condition your mind for one or the other or both to get this to happen. if you've grown up being like masculine and forcing yourself to be masculine, yet if your spirit does not conform to that, you put on this act all the time, become so used to it, it's been ingrained into you, you have to kind of take some additional steps. I don't begrudge anybody that does that. I don't personally delve into the sissification part of it. The feminization to a certain extent, of course, because that's basically what I'm going for. The female body comes with that, but the mindset, I always feel, does not necessarily have to change entirely. In fact, I told myself, as my female self, I'm not entirely different than the way I am now. It's small things. That's what it is. And I'm generally happier in that body. But this is basically what I am as a girl. And that's okay. I don't have to change anything about the way I am. You know, there's just small, very small stuff. Barely anything that registers. And it's all about putting myself in the correct body. And then whatever the small things are, they just kind of fall into place afterwards. I can take big steps in the meantime, but I don't want to be forcing myself to behave in an unnatural way for me by overcompensating the feminine aspects that are already here. I want to be uniquely me, not a carbon copy of someone else. That's the way I look at it. And that's a piece of advice for some people too. You think you got to change a whole lot about yourself to be a girl if you're a guy? I don't think so. If your body says you're a guy, you don't have to change everything about yourself to be a girl. Because you are who you are. You know, you wouldn't want the female body if you weren't a female in mind already, in a great majority of the sense. There's a connection that goes with the body and mind, and if it's mismatched, obviously you know what happens. Then you have some people that are curious about this, that wants to know what it would be like, and I totally get that. Like, if I ever had this transformation machine idea that popped into my head from now and then, that I could ever manifest into being where people could just easily step in and change from one to the other, I would let the curious people go through too. Because you'll never know if it's something for you if you never try it, right? Make you more connect with it. Some of the curious people I would dare say are maybe actually female spirits and they just don't know it. I think the curiosity comes from somewhere. That's just my opinion. But the people that are curious would probably be on the back of the line, where the people that are actually sure about it, they'd be on the front. And I'd get them through as quick as I could. You know, and if they had any remorse, they wanted to change their mind, they would be the first back through. But they'd only get one reversal, to be fair, because you got to keep the line moving. I always say that, but I'm very generous about it. If I had such a machine, that's how I'd handle it. Once you get to the serious people through, or the people that have immediate regret from it, and they're sure they made the wrong decision, get all those people out of the way, then have the curious people go through. I think that's fair. I don't know what anyone else thinks about that. Yuka says, what volumes should I use for your subs? Most of my subs, I should say, have been mastered at a volume that is a bit too over my liking. But my mixer it comes out that way because I was trying to get the low enough to be at the subliminal level, the audible ones anyway, that I had to decrease the volume of the other stuff too, because you don't want the music track to be louder than the affirmations. You don't want the tone to be louder than that. So I think we're coming in at negative 10 decibels. So if you had your listening device at full volume, that'd probably be the perfect volume to listen to it at. But you could probably knock it down to maybe, I don't know, 60% and still be okay. See, some people would say go down to 20 to 40, but they usually have like full blast. volume coming out of their mix, and I don't usually mix them like that. I'm trying to get it louder though, so that people can listen at higher volumes if they want to. I find if you listen to a subliminal that has a lot of tones and music and all that stuff on a personal level too loudly when you're trying to sleep, if that's what you're doing, it can be very difficult to sleep to that. And you have to turn it down and make it listenable. The louder, I mean, if you're not trying to sleep, you can make it louder. But you don't want to hear the affirmations coming to the what they call the supraliminal level, which means audible. If you're trying to put them at the subliminal level, so you don't want to hear those at the conscious level or the supraliminal. You want to hear them at the subliminal. So turn them down so you can't hear those affirmations. Because if you hear them consciously, you can short circuit the intention for that. Now, I might put some more superliminals out where you can hear them, because those are more effective on some people. The less resistant you are to the notions of what's being said, the more you can hear it consciously and have it have an effect on you. And it could hit you at both levels, technically, because your subconscious always listens to things that happen at the conscious level too, and gets in there. But you can bypass the filter of the conscious if you have a resistance. So that's what this subliminal's for. And if you have resistance at all to becoming, like if you're listening to male to female, you have resistance to being female, then you're going to want to start at the subliminal. But I don't think you ought to have resistance to that notion if you're even invested in listening to a subliminal of that nature in the first place. I would say you don't have that much resistance at all if you want to do it. Not on a conscious level anyway. Maybe subconsciously, but not on a conscious level. But remember, your subconscious is overridden by your conscious level. It's all about belief. So believe it's working, and then your subconscious will follow. Because you can get a subconscious that's blocked up sometimes based on your previous beliefs. It's different from like belief in the moment can take some time to ripple into your subconscious. So you'll get discouraged when things aren't instant. They're not always going to be if you have blockage of some sort. That's basically where it comes from, is a pattern of belief from the past. And it takes more than just saying, I believe different now. That's the start. Keep the ball rolling like I was talking about earlier. Keep listening. Keep in a positive mindset. Keep believing. That's more or less not my own advice to you. That came from Juliet Clearly, her channel. That gave me that notion. But I mean, I kind of thought of it that way before, but not exactly those words. So I hope that helps. I think it's going to help me. Oh, what are we on? Oh, we're getting close to 7. I got to end this pretty soon. I'll do one more quick scroll through the things I might have missed here. If any other chats come in, I will address those quick. But then another 10 minutes, I'm going to say end the stream. And I will probably leave this one public for a while, so people can come in and listen to it that haven't watched it live, but I might make it private eventually. I don't get a lot of views on incidentally enough, on my live streams live. After the fact, I seem to get more, so is what it is. The last few of them have been gameplays. People got bored of the Zelda 2 thing. I was getting kind of bored of it too, but it's a fun game. There was a fun remake, but can be kind of tedious. And if you're not into the retro gaming aspect of it, Phil Ozana says, hi, girls. Hello, Phil. Kind of catching us sort of near the end of this one, but glad you could join. time zones are always a thing. I don't know what everyone's time zone is. Mine's Central Time, so I'm getting close to 7 a.m., so I said another 10 minutes. I'm going 10 minutes beyond what I initially said, but that's okay. I can take a few more comments or so. This is not my 1,000 subscriber special either. That was going to be a little more special. I was going to do, I'm going to play Control, that game that is in the continuity of the Alan Wake universe, apparently, which was another game I enjoyed. That might be a fun one I can buy when I have some money. Alan Wake. And play through that too, if we're going to do like a backwards continuity thing. I hear they're making an Alan Wake 2 though. That's going to be fascinating. I think it's I don't know when it's out, but it was exclusive to Epic Games or something, though. I thought that was a bit strange. Okay, Dragon Souls asking about a month ago. You're at 1K now, want to do the live stream? Yeah, I wanted to. I got sidetracked majorly. I was talking about going to football games and work and just not feeling energy to do a 1,000K live stream. At the time, I should have done it. And now we're getting close to 1,100. I think we actually were on 1,100 and one person unsubbed or something. Phil says, really appreciate your subs. Your P2V is very powerful. I'm glad that that's working for you. And myself, I kind of wished I would have stuck to that myself. I once upon a time I told myself if I could just change that one part about me and the rest of this would just go a lot quicker. If I stick to that one part instead of trying to change all of me. But I also wanted it to be a reality shift too, and not just a physical thing. So maybe I'm going down the right path, and I just need to be, like I said, patient with it. But I do think, though, if you're just looking for a physical only change, focusing on your that particular area is going to be your best bet because you have that configuration in place. Your hormones will shift, and the secondary characteristics will take care of themselves. And a lot of your primary characteristics go beyond what you got down there, too. Your general hip structure must, by necessity, shift itself to fit those components. So you'll be wider of hip, you'll be a sliver of waist. And I would dare say maybe your bone structure overall will have shifted. Less bone density and less muscle mass by that time, perhaps too. Because it does take some female hormone to form those components. So I think it'd be more of the progesterone variety rather than the estrogen at that point. Maybe a mix of both. But we know that the female organs do produce the estrogen and the progesterone on their own. So when she developed them, everything takes care of itself. So yeah, not to be too repetitive, but there you go. Phil says something helps for visualization. If you're asking for suggestions there, envision what the feel of having those components are for you and put a visual in your head on what you want them to look like and hold it as long as you can. Don't stress about not holding it long enough and don't force yourself to keep holding it. Just put it in your head now and then while you're meditating on it. And try to hold on to the feeling more than the visualization to start with. The more you practice something, the better you get at it. It's more about the feeling that visual gives you than the visual itself. So get the visual in there as much as you can. Hold on to the feeling. Phil says, yes, okay. Also, I guess using P to V helps for general female characteristics. Yeah, exactly. People taking just the hormone replacement therapy have, obviously it will have a change in the primary characteristic that you're looking for on the P to V part. But they do have the secondary stuff kick in once the hormones that the female organs would produce are in place. They start developing the female chest, and their shoulders start to slim a bit, and their hair starts becoming thicker and fuller. Their face starts to feminize. Skeleton structure changes a bit. The longer you stay on that, the more effect you get. I even dare say, if you had the right combination of hormones and you did just the hormone replacement therapy, as long as you had you stuck to it and you believed it was working, you could have it change that way too. Because I think it's more about the belief that it's working rather than what you're taking in. That's why people who are very stubborn on what to expect from it probably don't get the best result. Because they're being told that they're not going to get the best result. So they believe it, and so they don't. If they allow themselves to fully envelop it and believe it to the fullest and give it time, they'll develop the best they possibly can. And though they should be mostly satisfied at that point, I would venture, but that's just a hypothetical guess. I don't know for sure, and I can't pretend to know everybody's situation. So, and I'm not in that situation myself because I don't take the medicated hormones, because I don't personally believe that's even required. I have examples where that's not required, so I don't even factor it in. I'm not going to begrudge anybody who does it, but that's not for me. Yuka says, I'm going to try your past alternate subs. Okay, definitely give that a try, and let me know what that does for you. I've had, like I said, I have someone on my Discord server, Rosary, who used that, and she changed from male to female completely. She used no male memory, so she does not remember her male self at all. In fact, she had to go to some document she wrote about her male when she was male to remind herself of anything. So, but she does not have literal memories of that. So, I would recommend going with that if you have fear of losing your male memories, though. I did have a theory once that we had to let go of our male selves in memory to change, and the vice versa if you're going female to male, but I wasn't too sure on it. But something about if you're doing a past alter, of course, if you were born the opposite way, you would not have those memories, would you? Because you were born the opposite way if you were doing a literal modification of your past. So, but I did include affirmations about giving you a choice in there. So, and I also fall back on whatever you believe is true is true. So, I don't want to limit anyone's beliefs by saying you must lose your memories. I think you might truly have a choice, but if you're going to choose to keep both sets of memories, maybe it takes longer, and maybe you have to let that be true. Because maybe you have to merge realities together where both things can be true at once. In some way, shape, or form. I don't know. People like to think I'm a sage and I know everything on this, but I truly don't. I use a lot of things I've learned, but some things I have to just give a guess on, and an educated guess, but I don't have the absolute answer for sure on every situation. I wish I did. I wish I could say, yeah, the magic thing to get it to work for everybody. Because if I do that, then I would already be fully changed myself. Because I would know exactly what to do. But just because it works on me doesn't mean it works on everyone either. So, because we're all different. but I think we have to be to make this whole thing work. So. Theo says, thanks a lot. That's drive my car, but I'll keep listening. Okay, definitely. I suppose I can go another 9 minutes. This was where I was gonna end, but I will I'll keep scrolling through to see if I missed any comments on my thing that slipped through on the channel. I've been so delinquent on this, but I appreciate those who tuned in for my surprise stream. Definitely not a day of my 1000K one though to celebrate that properly. This does not count in my opinion. Ideally, I'd like to have all 1000 of you plus 1000 plus of you join and get the most ever viewers on the stream. I average like 5 or 6 at tops, you know. And live streams aren't for everyone, and we can't always be here at the same time, so I get that. But I got oh yeah, channel monetization. I never tried to redo it on this one. I don't think it would go through if I tried it. I could see if it would work. But the idea was to go through and use the new channel for that. But I only had, and I appreciate everyone who did subscribe. I got under 100 on there. It's 87, 88, or 89 on the Sublime channel. That was going to be the one I would turn into the monetization channel. Because it was more monetization friendly with the presence on there, with the visualization of me. These live streams don't show it, and certainly the subliminals didn't show it originally, but I started putting a cartoon character in me on the ones I posted. But there's no voice to go with it, obviously, because I'd be disruptive to the listening, wouldn't it? Unless it were the affirmation layer. But you don't want to hear me talking when you're trying to listen to a subliminal. Believe me, even if it is as nice, feminine voice you're hearing right now, you don't want to hear me talking over it. I know I wouldn't. Mizan is on. I still don't look like Anastasia Javolko. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. Do you look anything like her? Did you see any changes or just out of curiosity? I mean, things can take time. You know, it's different for everyone, like I said. I can't promise like a specific speed for anybody. Like I myself, like I said moments ago, I'm still I'm 3 years into this and I'm lagging behind some people. Some people said they've done this in like 9 months or a little bit over, you know. Sometimes the older you get, I think it's harder to, because your subconscious has been stubborn for so long. You know, if you're kind of still young though, I don't know how, you know, stubborn subconscious or limiting beliefs and not letting go of expectations and not believing it's already done and just letting the illusion fade and living as if it's done, doing everything you possibly can, making different decisions. If you want to manifest yourself into a different person, it stands to reason that at least some of the things you would do would be different. If you're focused on the differences. So if you ask yourself, what's different about yourself as a woman, for instance, what would you be doing? What would you be feeling? Tap into the emotion of it. You know, try to emulate the things you would do as that person. Assume it's already done. Meditate on it. There's a whole lot of things you can do. Yuka says, I'm curious, will the sub change skin color? That depends on what you want to do with your past altercation. Do you want to be born a different family entirely? And the more you change, the more resistance equally you will have, as they say, the more you're changing about your life. So if your main concern is you want to be female, maybe just focus on being female or male, depending which direction you're going, and Don't worry about the details of it. Just tell yourself you're manifesting your female body if you're going in that direction. Maybe get a name in mind of what you'd be called for your first name. Maybe if you enjoy the family you're in already, tell yourself you have the same family. Just get, like, don't try to change too much. Don't try to change your birthday. Don't try to go too deep into it, because the more elements you're attempting to modify, the more resistance to your mind you're going to put there. That's why these lookalike requests I get sometimes can take some time, I would imagine. You know, if you try to manifest to look like someone else or literally be someone else, you're going to need some time to shift to that reality. And you might be shifting to a parallel one where you're out of this one entirely. And if you're leaving one reality into another, that could take some time. Because there is already a person the way that you want, that is called by the name that the person you want to look like and be in this reality. So, you know, if you exist independently of that person right now, does that mean that you are still that person right now and you're existing in two places at once? It could be, but maybe it's more likely you have to shift out of this one and your spirit transitions into a parallel reality where you're that person instead. And that person's spirit is in your body. In that reality, it switches. I don't know. Like I said, multiverse, if it's literally many, many different universes stacked upon each other, anything is possible. So I guess it's the way you want it to be. If you want to literally take over that person here, maybe you already are that person and you just need to believe it completely. Get rid of all doubts about it, no matter what the mirror shows you, no matter what people tell you. I'm not saying go completely off the deep end and appear to be a psycho or, for lack of a better term, or out of touch of the reality, but, just don't hurt yourself or anyone else in the process, and just hold true to it. That's the best way I can put it. Mizan says nothing. I'm like I always be. Yeah, but again, I'm sorry about that, Mizan. I'm not sure how to direct you on that. Have you been on my Discord at all? Because maybe we can, like, either I or someone there can, like, counsel you on it and try to figure out what the root of the issue is exactly. Because if you've been at it this long, there should have been something that you've experienced. I mean, do you feel anything like happening? Do you, like, you feel sensations or anything at all? Because if not, then there are. I've been going through with some people with the chakra system on the listening to certain sulfur frequencies to listen at, try to clear your root chakra first and then move upwards and say you got all the chakra sealed and unblocked, and then all the creative energy can flow all the way through to up to your crown chakra and accelerate your shifting. I think that, I wonder if that could be a problem with a lot of people sometimes. They're just blocked up. And of course your doubts can do that for you. Your fears and your doubts and your worries, and it's just a feedback loop. The more you feed the negative, the more it exists. Mizan says, I don't understand shifting. Everyone talk about it as if it's so easy. And while listening, yes, there are sensations, not just yourself, but others too. And nothing major changes. Okay. Shifting it, Mizan, is nothing more than closing your eyes and envisioning your fully changed self and tapping into the emotion of that. A lot of people want to, like, make it more grand than that, saying that you're fully inhabiting that reality completely every single moment. But that's not exactly the way to put it. I mean, when you're first starting out, the most you can do is tap into that momentary feeling of being in that reality and holding on to that emotion. And the more you do that, the more you tap into it, the more you're on that frequency, the more you do the things that person does, that version of you does, the more you feel the emotions of that and tune into that and disregard what the illusion around you says, the more quicker you'll start to see that illusion fade. You know, if manifestation were as easy as making things happen instantly, there'd be absolute proof of it and everyone would be doing it all the time. And I don't think that's the way it was intended. Because sometimes the things that are worthwhile are the hardest things to do. If it was like second nature to everybody all the time and it didn't have some delay to it, then people would take it for granted and it just wouldn't, it just wouldn't feel as special, and it wouldn't like make you aware of what reality really is. I guess if everyone was doing it, reality would just be that you could do that, but you wouldn't see it as any other way, so you wouldn't appreciate the limiting version of things. So yin and yang, you have to know what the opposite is in order to appreciate what you want. The limit versus the unlimit of things. Stop looking at lack of progress as failure to manifest, and look at it as how do I want to put this? You can look at it like you're holding yourself back by not letting go of the expectation that you should see something. Because if you keep saying you should see something, you should see something, you should see something, then you're gonna keep manifesting a reality where you should see something, but you don't see something. Tell yourself, no matter what you see, it's already done, and tap into the emotions of it being done. Meditate on it more, I guess. It's like that Juliet clearly told me, and I hope that's helpful. Check out her channel and watch some of her videos, because maybe she could explain it better than I am. And it's easier said than done, I know, but I mean, this is not something. It's another thing she said is, if this wasn't meant for you, this wouldn't be something you want. You're only meant for things you want. Or wouldn't have come into being. So at some point or another, this is going to be a faded illusion, and this is going to be your reality. You just need to get out of your own way on it. Because you can get in your way the more you dial it and the more that you worry about it. And this doesn't mean you don't listen to subliminals and you don't meditate. It's just stop looking at it as, this is something I'm doing to bring it about because it's already done. What I'm doing is keeping the ball rolling. I got to get that snowball down the hill. So the more I do towards getting that snowball hill, the quicker this reality fades. And the way I do that is staying positive and getting out of my own way and stop letting negative energy rule my life. At any time you doubt something is negative. And that's not to say you should never doubt anything, because that keeps us safe. But when it comes to things you want, truly want, that are meant for you, never doubt that it's coming to you or already has happened. And don't look at what you see in the mirror as what determines your reality, because that doesn't determine it. You do. It's just a hologram. Look at things as a hologram. You're a holographic, your body's holographic, existing in a holographic reality. So it seems physical, but it's not. The only real thing is the consciousness that resides within you. and it has no limit. The only limit it has is what you put on it. Your decisions affect your reality, and you can fade it the more you take the positive reaction and get out of this mindset where nothing's happening. Beaton says it's like lying to myself every second. In a sense, it's like lying, but it's not. Because you're not telling yourself something that isn't true. You're just realizing what you see around you is not true. You're not believing the lie around you. It's kind of the reverse. You're telling yourself a truth and disbelieving what you see. And what you feel, like I said this before, what you feel is real. What you see may not be. And even when you manifest your desired female self into being in body, that is still hologram. That is still illusion. It's an illusion more to your liking, sure, but it's still not you. You are the consciousness that resides within you. Every one of us is. You are not the body, you are the spirit. And it is important we manifest in a body that is conforming to what our spirit is. Yes, but no matter what you change holographically on the outside, you're still you. And that's very important to remember. The spirit is what you truly are. And if you want something that I could recommend right now, that you could repeat to yourself when you're meditating on things, is if you told yourself that literally everything in your reality that you're seeing right now, that you're feeling right now, good and bad, you've brought into being yourself, and you take ownership of that, even if it seems ridiculous. If you keep telling yourself that over and over, you're going to attract more results to you as long as you maintain the positive track of the things you intend to bring about. There are unintentional things you bring about. When you say you don't want something to happen, it tends to happen, doesn't it? You go with sometimes. The more focus you bring on into something you don't want to happen, it can happen. It goes into what they're talking about with the telling universe what you don't want. It does not hear the term don't, it hears I want. So there's some truth to that. That's why I say, look at your positive result. Ignore the negative as much as you possibly can. It doesn't mean you're going to be perfect on it. Aim, like Juliet Clary says, aim for like 60% positive energy towards your goal on a day-to-day basis, bare minimum. If you can get it higher, wonderful. The faster it'll go, the more you do that. More you do that, but just try to get it at 60% positive energy per day going towards that goal. When you feel negative emotions, don't choose to feed it. Turn it as positive as you possibly can. Easier said than done for some people, I know, but I think I've kind of mastered this myself. I don't know how I did it, but when I have something negative happen to me, I choose not to get angry. I choose not to get, it's mostly the things that challenge me or the things that could anger me. I don't get a lot of the sadness things happening lately, but even the sad things I feel less affected by. Not to say I'm heartless, but it's just, I try to put a positive spin on everything in the moment it happens. I just don't want to feed that negative energy. I know it's like, because negative energy is a destructive thing. And positive energy is a creative thing. And when we manifest, we are being creators, not destructors. Mito says, it's hard for me because I am a very logical minded, a science student, used to work in a science lab. Yeah, I can't say that I'm the same thing. Like I have a computer science degree, so I'm a computer scientist, but I haven't worked in the like the science stuff. Like the stuff about like, you look at like biology and chemicals and geology and you can go down the line. You know what I'm talking about. But I don't really I haven't got into that stuff. So I guess it maybe keeps me more of a open mind in a sense where I'm not as conditioned to discount a lot of stuff. And I don't think as scientifically minded. I don't think I don't think science has the answer to everything. I don't think the intention of it is to know everything either. It's to get us the closest understanding we possibly can get to something, but we never really actually know for sure. We come up with a theory and we come up with laws, but theories can be challenged, and if you have better evidence to overcome the theory, you can do it. It's built into there. So, yeah. Dan Solutions says, hi there. Hello, Dan Solutions. How are you? Phil says, thank you very much. Gotta go to work. Good luck to you all on your path and be confident because it works. Couldn't said it better myself, Phil. Yeah, I just say stick with it. And, you know, mm, like I said, positive energy is the most important thing. Tap into the positive emotion of it. If you do nothing else and really, really ask yourself, the person that you're wanting to be, if you want to look at it from that perspective, because that's kind of how we do in 3D sense of things. What does that person do? What does that person say? How do they act? Would this person doubt that they already are this way? Would this person do anything contrary to what they are? No. So why would you expect that to be the case when you are acting in a way that's contrary to the way they do? Why are you, when you're being different than they are? So the more you shift your line of thinking, feeling, and for a lack of a better term, acting towards what that person is, the more you're going to shift your reality towards that. Because like I said earlier, shifting is nothing more than tapping into that emotion of that person that you are wanting to become, for a lack of a better term. Because you really are that person already. It's just you need to realize that, get out of your way, and embody that instead of doubting what you see. Because it really is holographic illusion. That's all this really is. That's the true nature of reality, which, if you look into the CIA documents about Project Gateway, that's what they said. And the CIA looked into it. There's probably something to it. They're not going to waste taxpayer dollars on nonsense. So Dan Solution says, I love MTF, subliminal audios from you. Glad you do. Any particular one that you have been listening to? I don't know, past altering is very popular. And it's most of my content had been that based on the request, but I've been trying to branch out into the more general stuff. I want to do male to female chess conversion by itself and go into specific parts too. Just haven't had the time to go into that. And I always have the guilt that I don't get a lot of these requests that were lookalikes and other things. I feel like if I don't get to those first, instead of going to what I creatively want to do, I'm letting people down. But I also feel best when I post content to my channel where I'm being creative and not just using a script I've already done. Because I think both sides of this are equally important. Oh, I have a I apparently had a disconnection at some point there. I don't know what happened. We said, but that's what OBS said. Did you all experience a interruption in the stream? Apparently it said I had one. Yeah, let me scroll backwards. And just playing, yeah, it's playing. Or what is I don't know. That's what it said happened anyway. Let's hit pause, let it not like wasting my bandwidth. Bizon says assisting like lucid dreams because I listened to one shifting subs, not yours. I got lucid dream, was waking up in dream, was kind of like nightmare or scary, and I really well, lucid dreams are not necessarily a shifting event. They can be, but more or less your I've read a few comments. I'm not sure about this, but you can do a reality shift with a lucid dream if you can gain complete control over it. Find like a door with a bed in the room if you can when you go through the door. But if there's no bed in the room, you go in, lay down, and focus on shifting to your desired reality. That's what I heard you can do. You've got to fall asleep in that dream or that in the lucid dream state. And it's supposed to shift you immediately to the reality of your desire. If you could manage to do that, because there's some kind of connection between when you're lucid dreaming and dreaming in general to your all realities in a sense, because your dream is a reality that you construct in your sleep mind. Just like this reality when you're awake is a construction of your awake mind. You just happen to come back to this one all the time because this is what you're familiar with. It's the state that you come to. So it's obviously going to be the one that's the most detailed, the most rounded. But you can totally mold this into what you want it to be. That's the idea. This is basically a dream itself, but it's the dream that lasts the longest, so it seems the most real, as they say. But I think everything's real, not to throw confusion into it. Everything actually is real. And when you realize that dreams are just dreams, then that helps you out. It's a version of reality, because reality is nothing more than what your consciousness experiences. That is what is real. And it's very subjective because we experience our reality within our conscious mind, and not everyone around us in the holographic reality experiences the same thing we do. Everyone around us that is not us is a projection of what we see them as, and they may as well be, everyone may as well be their own unique holographic representation of reality themselves, and like a split consciousness of a divine being, for instance. So we're all real, but how we see each other is just a projection, and how each of us sees ourselves may not aligned with however well sees us. If that makes any sense. I think it does. Bisa says I'm not yet mastering my lucid dreams, only sometimes and only a while before forced to wake up. Yeah, I can't say that I myself have mastered lucid dreaming. I've had ones where I know I was dreaming, but I never remember to go through a door in those dreams and find a bed. You'd think I'd remember that because I've read that before. I wanted to try that to see if it accelerated anything, but it never comes to my mind. It's like it's like my spirit doesn't want me to remember that because it's not the intended way for me to do this. I'm not like meant to just do an instant shift. Maybe it has to take some time because I'm not ready for it yet. Maybe it comes to me when I am ready. I don't know. There is one thing that's bothering me about my logo. I just noticed. My banner up the top. No, I don't want to make it visible. Move it just a tiny bit. Get some more centering on the text. I don't want to cut off the character too much, but it seems like I need more space on that to center it. It's just kind of my OCD, and not that I'm OCD too much, but I kind of feel like that sometimes. I'm cutting off the head a little bit, but I want to feel like we're centered. It's not perfect, but it's better. Now, of course, we have the chat that's not all lined up, so I need to fix that. Because we got a gap. Oh, there we go. All fixed. I feel a little bit better about that now. It was just kind of bugging me when I was looking at it. I didn't like how the head's cut off a bit, but only way I could fix that is shrink it. And I'm not going to worry about it at the moment. Maybe next time I'll get it. All right, so last thing in chat, probably before I head to bed, since it's 7:30 a.m. my time, I should have been in bed a bit ago. Mizan says, I'm not yet mastering my... Oh, I already got that one. Okay, well, if that's the last comment, then I think I'm going to call it quits for the morning, I guess you'd say. If there is any one last question anyone has, I will take it. But after that, I will go ahead and head to sleep and end the stream. And I hope everyone else can check me out on here in the replay. And hopefully I get to leave this one up and not take it offline. It's contrary to the usual content that's because it's meant to be live streams all over the place, but I do want people to check this one out if they can, and hopefully open-minded people don't, or mostly open-minded people see it, and the people that are not don't flag some of the things I said and get me in trouble. But it's not like I went too far out of bounds. I mean, if we can't have an opinion about something that's our own opinion, then I guess we can't say anything at all, right? I don't want to live in a society like that, where we can't say what we think about something. That's kind of ridiculous. I mean, you may not agree with me. That's fine. there might be a bunch of people that do, and that's wonderful too. I mean, diversity of opinions what keeps the world working. What if I'm right about this idea about a one God dividing his consciousness, her consciousness up into billions, if not trillions of us to create this illusion of a bunch in order to maintain such an illusion, that being is going to want diversity. Because if we're all the same, then it becomes more apparent that we're one. And maybe that's not what God wants. Maybe to a certain extent, God wants us to realize we're the same, but also wants us to feel different so we can maintain the illusion that we are not one. It's a contradiction, but maybe it's a necessary one. If you are the only one, you don't want that loneliness to creep up. And I don't want to rehash that too much, but that's just kind of a theory. Yeah, I got kicking around about the nature of things. It makes total sense to me. It may not make sense to you if you've been brought up in a certain religion, but Mizan says, good morning, Ben, and thank you for the chat. It's 9:27 here in Malaysia. Yeah, you got a couple hours on me then. Yeah, I hope you have a good rest of your morning too, and day, evening, and everything. I'm gonna try to have myself some rest and see how my work shift goes. On a positive note, I'm almost to Friday, which is another day for that, and then I'll have yet another one of those football games to attend, and that should be exciting. And the season's almost over, so I'll have more free time eventually. That's been taking up my time. I might have mentioned that, but that's part of it. I want to fix my background a little bit. Like, gap, like a gap in there. There we go. There, now I think I got it. I just noticed that too. There was a black gap in between the banner and everything. The chat back up on there. There we go. Oh, PM? Okay, so yeah, I should have figured that's a completely other side of the world. So yeah, that's gonna be PM, not AM. So that is nighttime. So you got all the rest of the evening and then the morning and then a complete day to go through. And I'm the mirror of that. I only have the rest of the morning and then afternoon, evening to get to the next day. So, but that's the amazing thing about the way this world's time zone works and everything. I kind of, on a side note, I kind of wish we were all on a universal time, no matter how dark it was everywhere. And we went off the 24-hour clock so that everyone would know what time it was no matter where they were. That would make it a lot easier. So, my 7:30 a.m. is, converts to, well, I guess it would be 7:30 a.m. basically, because I would be 7:30 on the 24-hour clock. I know that would throw a lot of people off though, because you could be saying good evening to somebody who's actually in the morning, because it's just sunrise, but you would just take modification of how we're saying things. It'd be easier to adjust to that than people would think, though. I mean, you just look at, obviously, you would know it's daytime. If first people learn the difference in day versus night in places. Actually force people to look things up. Instead of being complacent in their own time, and that's all they need to know. And I'm guilty of that, just like anyone, but I'm just saying, it takes some of the laziness out, because if everyone goes, okay, universal time is here, we all know it's the same time everywhere, but we got to realize that it's going to be daylight in some places, night in some places, and maybe we'll look it up and see where it's night versus where it's day, and we'll learn something. That we won't have misunderstandings like I did a second ago where I thought assumed it was morning in Malaysia for some reason. Why did I ever think that? I don't know. I've learned this before. Uh, says it's 16th November, 17th November at 12 a.m. Okay, so I'm on 16th November. I'm just getting there. 7 hours and 30 minutes ago. So you're almost a day ahead. That's how much of a difference this is. You, Mizan, reside in the future. Think of that for a second. You are about a day in the future from me. If that doesn't prove time travel, I don't know what does. Time zones are, well, the way they've structured it actually make it possible with time travel. All you have to do is go into a different time zone, and you've time traveled. You don't need a time machine, just an airplane or something. Take some of the mystery out of it when you think of it that way, but it is what it is, as they say. Funny, is it? Says Nita. Yeah, absolutely. And on that note, I think I am going to end it for sure. And thank you, everyone, again for hopping aboard the Bethany Express. I have to do a live stream of the to celebrate the 1,000 subscribers thing and actually officially celebrate that kind of thing. As soon as I possibly can. By that point, maybe we'll be at 2,000 or we'll be kind of moved. Maybe we'll make it a 2,000 subscriber thing. I hope not, you know, because that could be a while. My account's kind of, not increased as fast as it was before. It's kind of slowed down, but yeah, when we do, I will try to play a game for a while, like I said, and we'll chat. Probably more than play the game because it's hard to play a game and chat at the same time. It really is. I haven't mastered that quite yet. But yeah, love you all, and thanks again for the support. And we will see you on the next stream and on the channel. You can always leave me a comment and go to Discord too. I'm on there as much as I possibly can. And if you haven't considered joining Patreon, there is a free option now. You can become a free subscriber of Patreon. You don't have to pay for it. Well, there is paid content on there. If you do give me, I think it's was it $6 now? Because I think I got rid of the $4 tier. If people want to pay me $4, I can put that tier back on, but it's signing up for it. I could even lower that down and do the bare minimum if people want me to give me a couple bucks a month for something. I don't know. If that people are interested in, I can totally do that. But anyway, before I get off into another tangent, I'm going to end it right here. Thanks again. See you next time.